Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Wiki Comic Book Roundup. We've covered this week's Marvel books as well as the new issue of Something That's Killing the Children from Boom Studios. So now on to this week's DC titles, starting with Detective Comics number 1038. So where we left off, the father of Sarah Worth, was it Roland? Yes, Roland Worth. Well, he blew up a Gotham City police precinct because he heard that maybe, just maybe, Bruce Wayne, who was in custody of said precinct, might be connected to the death of his daughter Sarah. Wayne escaped, and found one of his mini bat got to one of his mini bat caves and changed into Batman. But Worth still has a rocket launcher. So Lady Clayface is waiting in Microcave 7A, and while yes, Huntress is supposed to secure her, when she notices what's going on, she says, "Yeah, you're gonna have to help Batman instead of secure Lady Clayface." Batman and Worth continue to duke it out. Lady Clayface comes out and to the fight, only to somewhat basically melt into the sewer in front of Worth. Worth turns himself in and is promptly released. Batman is forced to hiding out at Huntress's place. But yeah. Worth holds a press conference basically saying he's going after Batman. Penguin finds it to be interesting. And Hugh Vile from the mayor's office, the one who's basically got a who's somewhat involved with these various parasites roaming about, has a chat with Worth, basically saying, "Hey, I'm on your side, and I will use my position with the mayor's office to help you." And Vile calls up Deb Donovan, attacks her, and has her text Bruce. Batman and Huntress go to save her. She's surrounded tied to a chair and surrounded by explosives. They try to get as many of them as they can, but it still goes up. Our backup story focuses on Penguin. No one's taking him seriously. The Batgirls, Stephanie and Cassandra, are just like, "Oh, it's just Penguin. What? Something bigger? Okay, yeah, we'll deal with that." His henchmen are quitting. A reporter comes to see him, basically saying he's a relic of a bygone era. He's, so on and so forth. Penguin kills the guy, tracks down the henchman and quit, and deals with him as well, before finally calling Roland Worth, as Worth has been calling Penguin throughout the story. And that is where the issue ends. Not bad. The Penguin story was just kind of okay, but at the same time, And this is a problem I generally have with titles like this, with related books, and there. So Penguin has somewhat popped up as well in Catwoman. He hired Father Valley. He has hired Father Valley to kill Catwoman, and let's just say Father Valley is very keen on completing his contracts. But here Penguin's being played off as being just kind of a hat. Everyone sees him as a has-been, including his own henchmen. So yeah, I just wish there would be a little more narrative cohesion. It's the kind of thing that an editor can say, "Hey, actually, this doesn't entirely work. Work with Ram. Get with Ram, right? Get with Ram about how he's doing Penguin in Catwoman. Compare notes, but that would make sense. Otherwise, the whole okay, yeah, Penguin and Worth working together. I mean, it's okay, but the issue kind of, said, yeah, they'll probably be working together because Penguin watched Worth's press conference like, well, this is interesting. Anyways, moving on to our next book, we've got Harley Quinn #4. Where we left off, Hugo Strange and his goons had taken Kevin as well as some of the other former clowns prisoner, and well, Harley was going to try and save them. But in trying to hide from Strange's goons, she ended up in the Gotham sewers, running into Solomon Grundy. However, it seems to have worked out. Her and Grundy are playing chess with, actual garbage as chess pieces. And, well, it's kind of one of those... Harley's kind of throwing, just kind of letting herself have a little stream of consciousness to Grundy. And it works. In fact, Grundy actually told her, you Harley Quinn, and she's like, yeah, okay, I might not be Batman, but I'm Harley Quinn. So she leaves she leaves to go save the clowns. It seems like Strange uses his new serum on Kevin, though and he seems to be having a rather negative response to it. But Harley tries to think how she's going to rescue the clowns. We get a really great moment with her standing on a rooftop and narrating the way Batman does, and imagining the gruff, gravelly Batman voice. The humid night air smells of the harbor, underneath the concealed stench of rot. This city, my city, is filled with monsters and men. Some more monster than man, but soon my city will learn that Batman has caused laryngitis from talking like this. But, and she has a brief fantasy of breaking into safe headquarters and beating up Vandal Savage, kicking him in the face while he says, I'm evil, I'm a big, stupid, evil man. But, yeah, no. So, she does, however, kind of use the image of Batman to intimidate some of the crew working for Strange. Slips in, accidentally smashes up parts of the lab, and some more of the goons chase her onto an elevator, and well, we get a multi-floor fight Harley versus the Goons, where she explains that all of them ganging up on her is bad elevator etiquette. And when she gets off the elevator, she finds herself face to face with Strange and more of his goons. Shit, indeed. That is where the issue ends. Harley is still a really fun book, and I'm honestly enjoying it. It has, it's set in a you've got a setting I enjoy, Gotham City, but you also have a tone that I don't associate with Gotham books, but that I also enjoy. It is more tongue in cheek. It has its serious moments, and it is neat to see how it is kind of neat, seeing how the way Harley kind of works problems out on her own. I kind of like this concept that she's part of the Bat family, but at the same time not part of the Bat family. Anyways, but yeah, solid book. It's a good book. They're doing good work. Phillips and Rossmo, they're doing good work on Harley. Moving on to our next book, we got Batman Reptilian, Book 1. So, Batman Reptilian is a miniseries from Garth Ennis and writer Garth Ennis and artist Liam Sharp. It was initially supposed to be be done by Ennis and longtime collaborator Steve Dillon. Who was Ennis's partner in crime on both Preacher and Punisher. However, sadly, Dillon passed away. And so there's a little note from Liam Sharp at the beginning. So the issue begins, apparently a heavyweight boxer who savagely beat a couple of prostitutes in Gotham has just had his case thrown out. Batman then shows up basically to intimidate the guy, call him a coward, and yeah. So later on, while discussing the day's event with Alfred, Batman learns that Scarecrow and Mad Hatter's crews were found together, extremely mutilated. So Batman goes to investigate, starts asking questions. Looks for a normal associate of his, Constantine, or a normal underworld associate, Konstantin Volkov. Batman and Volkov talk, and Volkov tells him about what happened recently when it came with Penguin and Riddler. Riddler was split from chest to crotch, straight up bloodbath. Penguin was nailed to the ceiling. Yeah. Volkov, it's not something he'll forget. Volkov adds, though, that brings up the concept that basically all of Batman's big villains will get together once a month and discuss and try and plan out a way to kill the Bat. But it doesn't take long before they can't agree. Before they disagree and it turns into a fight. This time, the most recent time that this happened, they got together, but it was to discuss what. But something happened, and everyone pulled guns on each other, and just as quickly, they holstered their weapons. And now Volkov learns that Scarecrow, he was a part of Scarecrow's crew. In fact, explained after the whole thing with Penguin and Riddler, that's when Volkov quit. So, Batman suggests that Volkov sign up with the Joker's crew, because Joker's always looking for help. And he explains that he will not let Volkov die. And then not sure. I'm not sure this is the boxer or someone else, but yeah, I think it's Volkov. Later on that night, sees something before he goes to bed, and yeah, that is where the issue ends. Um, I mean, neat concept, neat setup. First, one thing okay, I want to say this about the art. It's not bad artwork. It really isn't. And I've only before this, to my knowledge, I'd only ever seen Liam Sharp's pencil artwork, and that was decades ago, actually. His his painted artwork actually reminds me more of artists like Glenn Fabry and Bill Sienkiewicz, which, hey, that's high praise. I am comparing him to the two of them favorably. So yeah, the artwork's great. The only real problem I have with the book is that Garth Ennis's Batman doesn't feel like Batman. It feels like, I don't know, some edgy teenager's idea of what Batman's supposed to be like. He's got he has a basic understanding, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy most of Garth Ennis' other work. I mean, his Punisher is actually really good, but yeah. Anyway, it's not a bad book. It's not a great book either. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Sounds very different from what the solicits. It honestly feels very different from what the solicits were saying. But yeah, and to be fair, when I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be all about Killer Croc, or that Killer Croc would be thought to be the bad guy. But I was like, oh, you're not the bad guy. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we got Justice League number 63. Where we left off on the League on Naomi's home world, or home Earth, came face to face with her nemesis, Zumbato, the man who destroyed Naomi's Earth. So we begin after the fact. Naomi is at the Hall of Justice. In their med lab. She's once again solid. But Black Canary goes to check on her. We find out what happened. Naomi didn't want... Basically, when everyone suggested that the League leave, Naomi was kind of like, no, we're doing this now. But, yeah. Her and Hawkgirl worked in Congress that gives Zumbato a solid hit. Same with Hippolyta and Black Adam. But they ended up getting back home. And as they were leaving Naomi's Earth, she passed out. But they basically they explain a few things about being a superhero to Naomi. And but she is recruited into the Justice League. But the big thing that they tell her about being a superhero is something that Superman refers to as the pull. But he explains that there are 52 different universes in the known multiverse, so 52 planet Earths that are mapped, maybe more. Each one's got problems. But the basic idea is that when they encounter these Earths, including Earths where everything's flipped, like Earth 3, where you've got the crime syndicate as the reigning superhumans. It's all flipped, so... And yeah, the League wants to help them, but at the same time, there's billions of people on their own Earth that need help. It's that whole thing of basically they can't save everyone. It's actually a really common thing that pops up in superhero stories is the concept of the hero wants to save everyone, but it's like you can't save everyone. You can try, that's great, but just save those that you can't. Try to save any and everyone you can. So, but Batman reveals that he took a set portion of the dimensional travel device that Brutus was using. So Botto finds Brutus's partner, says, "Hey, the tech that got you to that other Earth, I want it now." But his partner says, "Yeah, some guy with pointy ears took it and trashed." Took it and trashed my life's work. So Zimbardo tells her to make it again, basically saying, "Hey," and she says, "You're the guy that kind of made everything scarce." So he said, "Okay, fine. Tell me what you're gonna need. I will make sure you get it." And Zimbardo basically says that him and Brutus would probably, when they go to that Earth, they're probably going to have to work together. Black Adam and Superman have a talk, and Hippolyta joins them, but Superman officially makes the offer to Adam. Batman asks Green Arrow about who's paying for everything, and Green Arrow is. After all, Bruce is cash poor at the moment. And Leviathan took out the intelligence agencies. More on Leviathan at some later date. I haven't decided exactly when we're going to be looking into that. Leviathan being a event that Justice League scribe Ryan Bendis wrote, involving an interesting cast of characters and spinning out started this week into a Checkmate miniseries. So, but yeah, the offer to join the League is extended to Naomi. She's all for it. So she joins the League. Moving on to the Justice League Dark backup. In the Library of Babel, Zatanna has been... The Justice League Dark has managed to get everything calmed down. Dark Hall was mostly Zatanna, but it's been a few weeks. So, Constantine puts things back to normal. Basically by writing out what happens. And in the library, with the spell, whatever's written becomes reality. So, yeah. Back at the bookstore, they're trying to figure out what to do because, well, honestly, Merlin's kind of thinking so far ahead of them it's not even funny. They need something that might help. Elsewhere, the Tower of Fate, Man-Bat is trying to help Dr. Fate get back in touch with the various mystical entities within the Hell of Naboo. He sees a few things. Himself in front of a ziggurat in Ur, the destruction of the fall of the Tower of Fate, and a young woman standing in front of an abandoned cathedral. That young woman is, of course, Elnara. She goes in, finds a bunch of robed people seemingly about to make a sacrifice. And she probably starts a fight with them. Watching from above, because, well, this cathedral is in Gotham City, is, of course, Batman. That is where the issue ends. So Justice League was a good talking issue. It's one of those things that happens quite a bit with Bendis titles. You have occasionally you just get a talking issue. Honestly, I'm liking his Justice League run a lot more than his Legion run, just because the characters all sound different. I've said I've said that before, but yeah, I mean, back when he did New Avengers and Avengers, and briefly Mighty Avengers, you had issues where the entire point was the team discussing something, and that's fine. If it's well done, it's perfectly fine. Not every issue has to have a massive slugfest where half the issue is double page spreads, where the hero TMCR is beating down the villain TMCR. Sometimes it's just people talking. That's actually one, and that's something that I liked about Bendis way back in the day, and being out of comics for so long, especially coming back into the point where he's not writing for Marvel. Yeah, it's a little weird, but I'm liking him on Justice League so far. So, anyways, moving on to our next book, which I believe is our final book of the week. We have Infinite Frontier #1. So you may remember back in March, there was the Infinite Frontier one-shot, which was kind of supposed to set up how the current status quo for the DC Universe. And it ended, if you'll recall, with the quintessence, basically the cosmic beings who the Council of Cosmic Beings says we're all about councils anymore, being killed on what was referred to as Earth Omega by none other than Darkside. So the issue begins with a ship crashing into Kansas and Earth 23. Inside the ship is Flashpoint Batman. And it turns out he's landed in outside the Ellis farm, and Ma and Pa Ellis, well, call their son Calvin, aka President Superman. We see some text messages about the revelation that a multiverse exists. Extant tries to take over time, but is stopped by the JSA and a few others, including Lex, Vandal Savage, and they're stopped by Justice Incarnate. After the fight, Green Lantern meets with Obsidian, and they talk about their about recent events, their past and whatnot, and they're planning to meet at an old JSA headquarters. And as Obsidian and Green Lantern arrive, the building explodes. Jade was supposed to meet them there, but she's not there. So of course Obsidian asks the important question, where is she? Of note, though, is that the explosion was green. In Paris, Cameron Chase is met by Mr. Bones, longtime DC intelligence operative. In all honesty, Fury is probably the closest thing there is. Is a bit more on the Nick Fury side of things than the Amanda Waller side of things. But the DEO has been reinstated, and he wants Chase back. Full authority, all the bells and whistles. But she does ask, why would she ever work with Bones again? Bones showed her something from his phone. And, well, that's enough to convince her. Getting back with Flashpoint Batman, he's awakened by members of Justice Incarnate. Captain Carrot from Earth 26, Aquawoman from Earth 11, Mary Marvel from Earth 5, Machine Head from Earth 8, President Superman. But, yeah. Batman kind of explains, just, get the Flash. He can explain all the science. So, President Superman asks which one. To which Batman says Barry Allen. And again, which one? Barry has figured out a way to possibly make it to Earth Omega. Vibrating while running through the various Earths, he can gather enough multiverse energy to access the mystery world. One day there he realizes the planet has no vibration, no frequency. But something feels familiar, like a crime scene. And then he discovers the quintessence, or what's left of them, apparently dead for weeks. And he's attacked by an old returned friend, Psycho Pirate. Though Darkside informed Psycho Pirate that Psycho Pirate can toy with the Flash after his promise is fulfilled. And apparently, Psycho Pirate and Barry are supposed to be on the same team this time around. Back on Earth Zero, at a diner, the family's talking about the multiverse thing. And some of them actually kind of remember something about it. The family next to them also remembers. At the counter, Roy Harper's having some coffee and eavesdropping and just kind of, whatever. But things don't extract along with some armored villains, armored, cannon fodder goes after Roy. And the Extract and the armored goons are all taken down. And it seems that Roy Harper is now a living member of the Black Lantern Corps. As he's surrounded by contracts of himself in his previous outfits. And wondering just what he's gotten himself into now. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting start. Yeah, honestly, with stuff like this, when you've got multiple story arcs, the first issue is going to basically be, okay, we're setting all of these up, and they did a good. And to be fair, with the first issue, a lot of what it boils down to is, okay, we need the hook there needs to be a hook for each story. Why is Roy a Black Lantern if he's alive? What happened to Jade? What did Bones show Chase? So on and so forth. But it does a good job of setting up the stories and also hooking a reader, at least in my case. So yeah, solid book. I'm especially glad to see Roy having a prominent role. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.